Bringing back the good times. Two of the Championship's biggest clubs, Ipswich and Leeds, meet with promotion in their sights. And making up for lost time, it's a clash between two slow starters as Middlesbrough meet the rejuvenated Portsmouth. First on the show this week, a match from Tuesday night. Leeds against Preston was quite possibly the game of the season. Preston dropped to bottom before last weekend's win against Coventry, and they took the lead at Elland Road thanks to John Parkin. An easier goal he may never score. Leeds stunned. It took them just 10 minutes to respond though. Luciano Becchio on hand. The fight back had begun. It wouldn't take long before the home team began to build on that momentum. Just another 5 minutes had passed when Alex Bruce put Leeds ahead. That's his first goal since signing for the club in the summer. Leeds chasing a fourth straight home win and were well on their way when David Sommer added another. The South African struck again soon after with his fifth of the season. Leeds 4-1 up now. It wasn't even half-time. There was still time before the break for Preston to pull a goal back. The scorer of their first goal, Parkin, on target again to give the Lancashire side some hope going into the second half. They could hardly have known what was to come. Keith Tracy sent in a corner for North End. It went straight in. 4-3, and nerves now showing for the home team. And Preston had the chance to draw level when Paul Coots was fouled in the box by George McCartney. From the spot, Callum Davidson. North End were level. But there was more to come. Parkin was the outstanding individual on the night, and he capped his performance with a sensational strike. What a way to claim a hat-trick and put your team ahead. With Leeds stunned, North End added another. Ian Hume with his second in as many games to complete the story of an incredible match. Preston back from 4-1 down to win 6-4.
Sven-Goran Eriksson is expected to be confirmed as Leicester's new manager this weekend. He watched from the director's box the day after the club parted company with Paulo Sousa.
They've all criticised Mandaric, but he's put the money in and he decides, he makes the decisions. And I think it's a good decision.
Highly skilled, good track record, great. I'm very positive about it.
It's a big publicity stunt, I'm sure it is. I'm very upset about it.
The former England manager would have liked what he saw. Martin Waghorn grabbed the opener after just 10 minutes. That his second goal in the space of 5 days. Scunthorpe nearly found themselves 2 down after a defensive mix-up. Fortunately, Eddie Nolan was on hand to make sure Steve Howard couldn't score. It was mighty close, though. Leicester had lost their last 3 championship games, but they looked on their way to only their second league win of the season when Lloyd Dyer doubled their advantage. Leicester had conceded 22 goals in their 9 championship matches under Paulo Sousa, and Scunthorpe were given a route back into this match when Michael O'Connor flicked on Eddie Nolan's shot on the hour mark. A win was finally secured for the Foxes when Frank Musa got his first goal of the season deep into added time. Leicester victorious in front of their manager in waiting, and they move off the bottom of the table.
It's great for us to get our season started now because, you know, sadly Paulo lost his job and no one ever wants to see that, especially so early in his tenure. But, you know, we've just had to be really focused on what was needed today and, you know, I think the players to a man have done that.
It says something about how good Cardiff's start to the season was that they went into this game second with just one win in their last 4. The recent dip in form may have something to do with Craig Bellamy's absence with a knee problem, but when Peter Whittingham played him in, the on-loan Manchester City forward showed his team precisely what they'd been missing. That was about it in an otherwise uneventful first half, and just after the hour mark the game sprung to life. A goalmouth scramble more suited to the playground kept everyone entertained until Jason Shackle rammed home to level. Barnsley did the double over Cardiff last season, but hopes of repeating that feat were dealt a blow when Stephen Foster was adjudged to have handled in the area. Penalty Cardiff. Peter Whittingham stepped up to do the honours, but couldn't quite get the better of Luke Steele. But it didn't give the home team the lift they craved. It took just a minute for Cardiff to threaten again. Craig Bellamy's corner fell to Peter Whittingham. Sai Olofinjana could hardly miss, and wasn't he delighted? But Cardiff were determined to make it as nervy a finale as possible. Darcy Blake brought down Adam Hamill. And despite an apologetic hug for the Barnsley winger, Blake was off. Cardiff held on though, and Barnsley's unbeaten home league record comes to an end.
You know, they're a big side, they're a strong side, they play to their strengths, they get into the box, and we had to make sure that we got a lot of second balls the first half. I didn't think we did that as well as what we did the second half, but no, good 3 points for us.
Bristol City were the only Championship club yet to record a home league win as they welcomed Norwich to Ashton Gate. The Canaries hadn't won at this ground in 30 years, but they struck early on. There may have been a slice of good fortune in the build-up. Nothing lucky about the fine finish from Simeon Jackson, the Canadian international's first goal since August. And there was more misery to come before half-time for Keith Millen's side. Grant Holt's long-range effort was blocked by Robins captain Lewis Carey, but with his arm. A penalty. David James guessed right, but he couldn't prevent Wes Hoolahan from scoring his 3rd goal in a week to put the visitors 2 up at half-time. After the break, Bristol City came close to reducing the arrears when substitute Lee Johnson hit the crossbar with almost his first touch. But just a minute later, Norwich wrapped up all 3 points as Jackson got his 2nd. Some might call this Route 1 football. Others would describe it as quick thinking from the Norwich keeper John Ruddy. David James picking the ball out of his net for the 13th time in the league at Ashton Gate this season. Norwich continue their impressive start. Bristol City now bottom of the Championship.
Watford's impressive winning run came to an end during the week with a loss to Swansea, but they still had an undefeated away record to protect and had plundered 8 goals in their last 2 games on the road. And Malky Mackay's team started strongly again, thanks to Marvin Sordell's 5th goal in 6 games. Sheffield United's most pressing problems right now appear to be in front of goal. The Blades' 5-goal haul represents the bluntest front line in the Championship. 1-0 it finished, Watford up to 4th.
John, thank you.
It's been quite a week for John Parkin. Hat-trick hero in Preston's sensational 6-4 victory at Leeds, the second of 2 away wins in a week for his team. Now it was time to bring that form home to Deepdale. Preston were given an early scare by Reading. Joby McAnuff so close to scoring for the Royals. It didn't take the Lilywhites too long to hit the target though. Midway through the first half, Ian Hume showed admirable perseverance. Parkin couldn't quite reach it. Keith Tracy was able to put Preston ahead. Reading had shown plenty of attacking intent and struck back after the break. In some style too. Jem Karachan had last scored for Reading a year and a half ago. What a way to end the drought. Darryl Russell had already received 1 yellow card when he made a rash challenge on Shane Long. This would be his last contribution to the match. Preston's 10 men held on for the draw, their unbeaten run now up to 3.
There was a warm welcome before the game for Alex Bruce on his return to Portman Road. And the last time Leeds beat Ipswich, this fixture was a Premier League one. But good starts to the season from both sides have signalled their intentions to be back amongst the big boys.
Come on, Ipswich!
Ipswich gave a first start to midfielder Jake Livermore. The Tottenham loanee certainly made a good impression. His delightful through ball found Jason Scotland, who calmly did the rest. And that's how it stayed until a frenetic last 15 minutes. First, a mix-up in the Ipswich defence let in Arsenal loanee Sanchez Watt. He picked out Robert Snodgrass, and Leeds were level. But their celebrations were short-lived as Alex Bruce side down winger Andros Townsend. He received a second booking. No happy return to Ipswich for him after all. Ipswich had regained the momentum and pushed hardest for the winner. It came from Tommy Smith, and Roy Keane's men moved up to 5th.
Tommy was ready, and that's why you need these squad of players, and mentally players have to be ready. That's why it's important that your subs are switched on. And Tommy, it's ironic that he starts the game and scores the winning goal, and a good finish from him.
Still to come, a London derby and a meeting of old friends, Crystal Palace versus QPR. An amazing match in League Two where Chesterfield and Crewe shared 10 goals.